guys, Ruth Delgado here, and this is Ruth Delgado's Gamer Page. So, welcome to my channel. If you have not seen me before, and if you have seen me before, and you just so happen to already be a part of the Truth Tribe, welcome back. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Me, I'm chilling. I decided to bring a really interesting, in my opinion, subject to this specific video here that I decided to bring to you guys' attention. Um, in my channel, if you're not already familiar, I usually produce videos that are encouraging, that are inspirational, that are, um, you know, something that you're looking for. That, like if you're the type of person that's kind of like similar to me and you don't get a lot of support, you don't get a lot of love on a regular basis, you might even have family members and friends and stuff that you barely even talk to. You achieve a goal, you become successful in something, they don't even give you a congratulations. So if you're one of those type of people similar to me, then this is the type of channel for you, because when you come to my channel, I do the best that I can to um, cue you in on some of the things that I've learned in my life. Also, share some of my trials and tribulations with you guys, just in case you guys have actually had similar trials and tribulations yourself that you're struggling with. If you have something similar that you're struggling with, maybe my story or my testimony could actually inspire you to keep going and to keep working on whatever you're working on and doing whatever you're doing for yourself, so that you can still end up making the achievements or becoming the success that you actually want to be. Defying all the odds of people working against you, defying all the odds of not having family and or a close knit group of friends that really got your back, and put you in a position where you can get people around you that really has your back. Put you in a mind space and in the mental health space to be able to attract and draw people to you that are actually good for your growth and your health, as opposed to people who are actually the opposite, not good for your health, not good for your growth, not good for your maturity. So um, I just wanted to let you guys know that's basically what this channel is about and why I produce a lot of the videos that I do produce. So, what I'm going to be talking about today is, do we hurt each other giving the wrong advice to women to date one person at a time? I'm sorry, guys, I had to smell my flowers. They smell so good. So, guys, as you guys can see, they're dying a little bit right now. But my boyfriend recently got me some flowers. And so I was taking a little look-see at them. Okay. Anyway, sorry guys, I allowed that to distract me for a moment, but I'm getting right back to focus. So that's what the subject of this video is. Do we hurt each other giving the wrong advice to women to date one person at a time? Okay, so let me explain. This is what I mean by this. I'm going to actually move my chair closer. So this is what I mean by this. What I mean is, I have come across a lot of times in my life a lot of people who have given me the horrible advice. I've come to realize it's horrible advice now, but when I was younger, to be honest with myself, I didn't really think that it was horrible advice. I thought that it might be good advice because it was coming from people that was older than me, and it was coming from people that seemed to be more experienced than I was. So I figured that they probably had good advice for me. So I had a lot of times listened, and I think a lot of people, other people, especially young people, have that problem as well, where they are humbled to the point where they do understand and they do know that, okay, I am still young. I don't have all the answers yet. I can still learn quite a bit and I can still grow a lot more in my life. So I understand that, and I know that, you know, because I don't have all the answers yet, somebody else giving me answers, it shouldn't be bad. I shouldn't have the mindset that they're going to tell me something bad. That's where a lot of young people tend to come from. And I know, because first of all, I'm still young now, but also I was younger at other times, and so I remember how I thought and how I was behaving at that time. So, with that being the case, that's my question to my truth tribe. You know, do we do that to ourselves? Do we hurt each other, giving each other the wrong advice to date one person at a time? And I know people are probably going to say, how do you figure it's the wrong advice? Here's the thing. I said date one person at a time. To clarify, I did not say have sexual intercourse with one person at a time. I said date. You are only supposed to have sexual intercourse with one person at a time. But I'm not talking about intercourse or sex. I'm talking about strictly dating. Strictly dating. So therefore, when you're strictly dating and there's no sex being exchanged, then there should be no issue or any problems with having options, because that's what you're supposed to have. Dating is about having options, about making sure that you know what options you have out here and that you pick the correct option for you. Because here's the thing, there's trillions, billions, millions, however many people it is on this planet, right? And there's someone for everybody, but everybody is not for everybody. We got to remember that. There's always someone for everybody, but everybody is not for everybody. So because we know that that's a fact, we know that it's a possibility you can end up being with somebody that's not for you, or vice versa. So that's why it's important to me to allow people to have options, but teach them how to keep their legs closed and not be opening up to everybody that halfway smiles at them. That's all. But just to be clear, because I know it's probably going to be some eyeballs that's going to be like, well, you're not supposed to be having sex with a whole bunch of people anyway. I never said have sexual intercourse on purpose, because that's not what I'm speaking about. I'm speaking of strictly dating, okay? So, one of the things that I have noticed that is wrong with giving women the advice that they should only date one person at a time is that it counters the dating process and giving yourself options. It literally takes you backwards from the options that you do have out here with all of these different people on the planet. It takes you from being able to have many different great options to possibly narrowing it down to a lot of not so great options and a lot less options than you had before, and a lot less quality as well. So when you do that to yourself, you can't be upset when you end up with a crappy person, because a lot of times that's what ends up happening with people. They rush themselves into relationships because they decide that, oh, I can only date one person at a time. No, actually, it's not the case. You can date more than one person at a time. You can't be intimate. Well, you could, but it's just not good to do that. It's not healthy. It's not the best bet for you to do for your sanity. But as far as actually just going out, living life, and having fun and just having fun experiences, there's nothing wrong with that. That's life. That's what you're supposed to be doing in life. is misperceived that dating also always means sexually intimate, which is not true. And that's what I was just saying. You know, a lot of people's misperception, especially men's misperceptions, is, oh, if you go out on a date with me, then automatically we're, you know, getting intimate. No, sir. That's not an automatic. I don't care if it's an automatic in your head. That's not an automatic. Just because we're going out and you're spending money on me does not automatically mean that now I am required to be intimate with you. But unfortunately, some guys do try to drive you to believe that it is your responsibility to take care of them sexually, especially if they spend money on you. Do not believe that mess, okay? It's not your responsibility. So remember, just because you're going out on a date with someone does not mean you have to sleep with them, and it does not mean you have to give it up. Just because somebody spends money on you does not mean that they should be able to manipulate you in believing that now you owe them sex. No, you don't. Because I know that's the type of temperament and mentality that a lot of guys have out here. And it's messed up because it just brings down the woman's self-esteem so much, and it's not fair. Have we lost sight of why we date, also known as getting to know people and their personalities, not to see how fast y'all can get intimate? So I do honestly believe that over the years we forgot why we date. We don't date to have sex with people. I know it's a sad misperception that that's what dating is, like coupled up like it's a combo or something. Oh, automatically if you're dating someone you're going to be intimate with them. No, 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 no. Y'all need to get that out your heads. Okay? Dating is not getting to sleep with that person. That's not what dating is supposed to originally be about. Maybe that's what some people have made it about as of, now. But no. Dating is specifically created so that people can get to know one another, so that people can communicate with one another, so that people can create some sort of community. So when you date, like I said, you're giving yourself options and, you know, giving yourself the freedom to get to know who all is out here in the world, and don't just, marry the fifth person you said hi to or the 50th person you said hi to, you know? Also, should we forget about men altogether and just completely focus on our lives and leveling up in our hearts and minds? So basically, in my recognition of what's been going on in the world and how horrible the dating pool really does seem to be, like it's what do they call it? A sewer. But anywho, being as though it's been getting that bad, I have come to the realization myself, personally, just from life and circumstances and how things are going right now, that maybe we should. Maybe we should forget as women. Maybe as women we should forget about men. And I'm not saying turn gay, because I don't know what is wrong with people's mentality that that's the first thing that they like to do whenever a woman says she's going to forget about men. I don't know why y'all so retarded that y'all automatically allow y'all minds to go towards gayness just because a person said that they're going to stop paying so much attention to the opposite sex. And honestly, that is a part of the subconscious mental manipulation in adult people. That's a part of it. sitting there constantly trying to make a person feel like just because they're not putting so much of their energy into a relationship or trying to be in a relationship with someone, that in some sense there's something wrong with them, or they're, gay or something. And it's like, what? Where do y'all be getting these kind of mentalities from? Wherever y'all get it from, y'all need to take it back. And y'all need to get rid of that, because it doesn't make sense. It's foolish. It's actually very immature. And it's just not cute. It's not a go-to at all. Um, but yeah, can we also get out of that norm of telling people, oh, just because they say that they're not going to pay too much attention anymore or be too serious about the opposite sex, can we stop implying that just because they're not going to pay too much attention to the opposite sex and they're not going to pay too much attention to sexual relationships anymore, that now, oh, all of a sudden you're gay now? Can you stop it, please? Because people have a right to go ahead and make the decision to say, you know what? Because I see how messed up this dating pool is, how it does give off sewage vibes. I also see how, horrible it is even trying to make friends. Forget dating. You can't even make friends out here. So-called friends will sit there and let you down and disappoint you and make you feel horrible for even giving them a chance. Even friends. So that just kind of lets you know, you're dealing with a world that is not full of a lot of quality people. So when you recognize you're not dealing with a lot of quality people, and you know of yourself that you are in fact a quality person yourself, then you know that you have to sometimes maybe take back your energy, maybe become a little more selfish with your energy, and sharpen up your own skills, sharpen up your own self, level up your life, level up your mind, level up your mentality and how you think and how you move in, how you conduct business, how you go about life. And basically, instead of putting so much time, attention, and energy into a man, if you're a woman, or vice versa, if you're a man, instead of putting so much energy into a woman, maybe you need to take some time off and put all of that energy into yourself, your skills, your talents, and whatever you want to do in your life, whatever you want your future to look like. Start sharpening up those areas of your life and do the best that you can to focus on that. I know what I'm saying to do sounds like, girl, please, we know you're not even doing that. Listen, I'm working on it though. I'm not doing that right now. I have a whole boyfriend at the moment. Even though the relationship is kind of complicated, at the same time, I do have a man right now. So I don't want to seem like I'm contradicting myself at all. But I am going to be realistic in what I genuinely do see is going on in the world, and what I do believe that will more than likely be the best healthy way to counteract what is going on in the world. And even though it's hard, because it's even hard for me, because even though I'm in a relationship, I make sure that I still practice, controlling my behavior, making sure that I focus and don't allow my boyfriend or anybody else to distract me too much from what my goals are, what my decisions that I decide that I want to make in my life is, and all of the above. I do the best that I can to not allow that to cloud my judgment and stand in my way. But sometimes it's easier said than done. And I know this just by my own story within myself. So that's why I feel like it is a possibility that maybe the best thing for women to do, and men if you're a man, is to, instead of putting so much energy and so much power into another person, put it into yourself. Put it into being your better version of yourself and see what that does for you. Challenge yourself. Work on yourself. So basically, the next point I wanted to talk about is if we were focused on career goals more than being a wife or a girlfriend, this would make women have less time to waste with men and more time in your career or your journey to your career, and never get trapped in a bad or toxic relationship again. Not even be vulnerable to it. If we don't let the world condition women into inspiring women to only become wives and girlfriends and single mothers, etc., rather than the title of their career goals like a lawyer, hairdresser, or fashion designer, etc. So basically, what I'm saying here is kind of piggybacking off of the last point that I made. If we, instead of putting so much of our focus and our attention in men, being a wife, becoming a mother at some point, or whatever other title any guy can give us, if we get out of that norm that society wants to constantly keep inflicting on us, just by doing things like the example that I just used not too long ago, where I said that people love to, matter of fact, somebody just said something like that recently to me. People love to say to you, just because you say to them, oh, I'm going to back off of men for, like I told my boyfriend, I'm going to back off of men for a while after I break off with you, if I decide to break it off with you, because I really don't want to jump into another relationship and be in another toxic bond. I said, but at the end of the day, it's so crazy, because first thing he says to me is what a lot of other people have said in the past when I said that to them, which is, "What, are you gonna turn gay now?" And this is no shade to gay people. God loves everybody, and so do I. And I respect everybody as long as they respect me. So that's not no shade to any, gay, lesbian, or whatever you identify yourself as. It's no shade to you at all. But in the meantime, respect me for who I am. Do not try to inflict any other type of lifestyle that is not my lifestyle onto me, just because I'm not jumping onto the norm. And that is a part of how the community and society tries to constantly condition us. The same thing that my boyfriend said to me when I said that I was going to back off of guys for a while after I, walk away from him, is the same type of mentalities and reasons why it's a lot of women that have been mentally geared towards becoming, basically geared towards making sure their goals and aspirations have something to do with or is formed around being a mom, being a wife, being a girlfriend, or being something to some man. Every time. Even in religion, they still even teach you that you're supposed to be up under your husband. But they still make you feel like you have to be concerned about some man. And I really do genuinely feel like in this specific point that I'm making here, that if instead of the world pressuring you constantly to be defined by some kind of role that some man gives you in your life, if they actually enforced you having the confidence in becoming whatever you want to become in your life, and your goals and your aspirations, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be a hairdresser, a fashion designer, if you want to be an entrepreneur, business owner, whatever the situation is, if we were actually taught and manipulated, like we're manipulated to aspire to be whatever men want to call us, if we were manipulated into aspiring to be whatever we actually want to be, and not have it had nothing to do with a man, but have something to do with our goals, our aspirations, our future, and our future lives, then we will be able to have better to offer when we do become a wife, when we do become a girlfriend, when we do become a mother, because now we're more whole by ourselves, because we have learned to stop focusing so much on the opposite sex and what we can do with them, or what we can do concerning them, and instead focus more on yourself and your growth and where life can take you on your own. And if love comes along, then go out, date, get to know people. You find someone that you really, 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 really like, you find out that they really, really like you and respect you and appreciate you, then you can go ahead and you can try to actually have something meaningful with that specific one person after you've dated and you found out what's out there and you feel like, okay, this person is the best pick for me. Then if you feel like that person is the best pick for you, then okay. But that's how I feel like, it should be, as opposed to everybody constantly being met with a whole bunch of sexual images, sexual mentality, sexual heritage. Like everything is sexual. And it's like, even as children, I mean, even to this day, as a grown woman, sometimes I'll still watch cartoons or children's shows. And I can honestly say, sometimes I am very saddened in the subconscious sexual imagery and reflections in like children in Disney movies and shows and things. It's not bold, it's pretty subtle, but I have noticed it getting older. And like, I guess now that I'm an adult, I'm seeing things a lot more clearly than I used to see it as a child. And I'm like, wow. So I guess some adults still don't see that some of this, these cartoons and, these different shows and stuff for children got some subtle stuff in there that you really don't need your kids to be watching because it is really overly sexualizing them. I remember, short story time, y'all know I'm good for it, Truth Tribe. I remember when I was younger and I noticed very, very, very early in my life how overly sexualized everything is. I remember, like, because I was reading at the age of 4 or 5 years old, and I remember I would read everything, and I remember reading something, and I think it was really overly sexualized, but I can't remember what it was right now. And I remember my mom responding to me saying, that's adult stuff, don't pay any attention to that. I know you can read, but that's not the kind of stuff you need to read. So I, tried to act like I didn't see it. But that was like one of the first times that kind of like let me know as a little girl that things are very overly sexualized for young people, and there is no way of getting around it either. It's just out here. So it's just like the best thing that you can do is teach your children to like combat against that because it's so heavy. Another situation I had, I acted like I didn't see that too. I remember, I think I was like 7 or 8 years old, and we were riding in the car. My mom, my god sister, and a few other children. And it was a day just like any other day. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't a cold day because of what I'm about to tell you guys. So what ended up happening is some guy just whips his out and starts to pee towards the street where everybody can see his private areas. Yeah. I saw this. Yeah, my mom saw it and ended up telling me to turn my head, and I did. But I had already seen it. And that was another thing that kind of like honed me in on how sexualized everything is. Like, that dude did not have to do that. He could have straight up did what most other guys usually do. Go behind a building or something. Go in a park somewhere, behind some trees or something. Somewhere where he feels like nobody can see him. No, this man directs his situation right to the street. Pees right into the street. Children and everything seeing. We ain't had no choice but to see it because it was literally right in front of our faces. So my mom tried to save us by telling us to turn our heads. But like I said, we had already seen it. Yeah, we turned our heads eventually. But we had already seen it. Because we saw it when she saw it. So, that's like another thing that lets me know, like, even, and that's back then when I was a kid. I'm not a kid anymore. Now, these children that's coming up now, I can't even imagine what they're looking at now. Because just a few years ago, I think probably like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. This is before I got my boyfriend that I'm in a relationship with now. But this guy that I was talking to before my boyfriend I'm with now, I was hanging out with him one day, and we was around his neighborhood. And actually, we had just pulled up to his house. We was hanging out, and this guy, I lied to you guys not. This guy came walking out of nowhere, butt booty hole naked, not even socks. Okay. And my friend at the time, he was like, because he was like, he didn't know whether the guy was like hopped up on drugs or what. And since he was walking around and didn't have sense enough to have any clothes on, he was like, he told me like, just stay in the car, because he was like, I don't know what type of stuff this dude is on. So I'm like, you're right. I wasn't planning on coming out anyway. So I don't know. He said something to the guy, and the guy walked off somewhere, and I never seen him again. But I brought up that story to just like inform you guys, to let you know, even now it's worse. Guys just walking around with no clothes on, and some women too. I actually seen something. I think did she have a bra? I think it's some woman with like tights and a bra, but she looked naked. Like you could see her nipples through the bra and everything. So it was just like, it's so out here heavy, the overly sexualism. And we want to know why young people, instead of inspiring to put more of their energy into themselves, try to inspire to put energy into someone that they're in a relationship with that may end up toxic or end up not being successful. Stop doing that to yourself. I know it's easier said than done, but do yourself a favor and stop doing that to yourself, because at the end of the day, you're going to be like me, and you're going to look back on that. You're going to be like, yo, how much time did I really sit there and spend and waste, in fact, on people that did not deserve my energy, that did not deserve that time that I spent with them, that did not deserve anything that I gave them. But because I'm so real and I'm so thorough about what I can do for people, and I'm so ready to show and prove, I showed and proved, and they showed me nothing but they behind the kiss. So that's why I had to create that video that actually not too long ago I uploaded, piggybacking off of one of the young ladies that I watch myself on YouTube. Her name is Kelly Stamps. Shout out to Kelly Stamps if she's watching. She created a video not too long ago, speaking of how she needed to stop being so nice. And I also created a video piggybacking off of that video that she created, but speaking my own experiences and my own story, because I do understand that that's another reason why, us as women, we get all caught up and tied up in relationships and friendships, because we were being too nice. We're sitting there and we're making ourselves feel like nobody has to prove themselves to us, but then we're making ourselves feel like we got to prove everything to everybody else. How fair is that for anybody? It's not. So if a person makes you feel like you got to prove stuff to them and they don't got to prove nothing to you, run the other direction. And I'm talking to myself when I say this too, because people are going to use you as much as you allow them to use you. And I know you're not purposefully allowing nobody to use you, but please know and understand that subconsciously you are, when you don't take the precautions to make sure that they aren't able to use you and take advantage of you. You're just basically allowing them to, and that's not going to benefit you in the long run. The next thing I wanted to shine light on is we can literally help ourselves if we change our focus, as well as stop caring what people think about us. Yes, this is huge. Okay. So I remember when I was younger, I used to have this same problem. Not as bad as most other people, but I can't lie and say I never had this problem, because I have. But it was only certain people who I cared what they thought. But it still stemmed from the same foolishness. We definitely got to get out of the habit of caring what people think about us. Listen, one thing about people are very finicky and they are very iffy. Okay? People will like you one day and then the next day they don't like you. People can love you today and then tomorrow they can't stand your guts. That's how people are. Okay? So there's no solidification when it comes to people, whether they love you or whether they hate you. That's one good thing about people. You can't really care whether they love you or whether they hate you, because you know from one day to the next it's going to end up changing. It's like, it's like a yo-yo. Up, down, up, down, up, down. You never know when it's going to be. So you cannot take too seriously a situation that's not stable. And that's exactly how it is with life. It's up, down, up, down. That's how it is with people. Trying to get people to like you, trying to get people to be into you, it's like a yo-yo. It's up and down. The only way you can try to stabilize that is by figuring out how you can become an asset to people in their lives. And if you figure, and actually that's one of the things that I'm learning how to do myself. If you learn how, you figure out how to become an asset to people in their lives, then you can be able to get a lot of what you want. Because then a lot of people that may have shunned you in the past because they felt like, oh, you don't have nothing to offer me, when you find out how to become an asset to their life, now you have something to offer them. And now, even if they do try to shun you or turn you away, you have a way that you can pitch them and shut them up and make them listen to you. And literally, that's one of the major things that I'm working on myself, learning how to become an asset to people and not a liability. Because honestly, that's what it's come down to. It's come down to recognizing that people are either an asset in your life to you, or they're going to become a liability in your life to you. And it's up to you whether you're going to keep them around, whether they when they show you whether they're a liability or a asset. But people are they're going to be either or. And so I'm learning myself as a human being, as a person, to become more of a asset than a liability, so that way I can definitely guarantee my position in a lot of other people's lives that I may have felt like I had to fight so hard for in the past, but now I know I can effortlessly be in their life because I have basically encountered being able to maneuver, knowing how to find my position in their life and where I fit. That's how you become more of a asset. You find out where you fit in people's lives, and then you just go ahead and position yourself where you fit. For instance, I was just watching an old show. I can't even think of the name of it right now, but it's about the maid that is like really, really snappy. She's a very good cook. She's really smart. She's really spiffy, quick on her toes, like kind of a little schemy sometimes, but in a good way. I can't think of her name right now. But anyway, I was watching one of the episodes where there was this entrepreneurial man that had some kind of product that he wanted to create a commercial for, and he was looking for an older person like the maid who could cook and who had the type of spiffy personality and characteristic traits that she had. And he noticed that she fit the description of what he needed so well that he could not pass up the opportunity to have her do the part, because it was like a part in like a commercial or something like that. And the name almost came to me. Shirley? No, it's not Shirley. It's something like that though. I can't think of her name to save my life right now. But anyway, at first she was saying no, blah 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 blah. But anyway, I just told you guys about that story to just like give you guys a gist of what I meant when I said make sure that you start to figure out how you can actually fit in people's lives and become an asset as opposed to a liability. Where he felt like she was an asset to his product, because she could make him a lot of money by impersonating this character that she had already been living in real life. He just wanted her to just reflect that same energy that she has in real life on the commercial so that it can get onlookers to see, oh, okay, if she likes the product this much, I'll probably like it just as well. So that's why I brought that specific show episode to you guys' attention, to get you guys to understand that, when you align yourself to the point where you literally fit perfectly into the mix of what you wanted, then you have switched from being a liability and became an asset to yourself and your own development and maturity in your life. And I'm learning that more and more every day. Learn how to be an asset. Learn how to be the type of person that people cannot survive without. When you become that type of person that people can't survive without, then they need you. And when people need you, they have to be careful how they treat you. Because then if they're not careful how they treat you, they'll lose you. And then whatever they needed, they're going to need it again. So even if they disrespect that you became more of an asset than a liability, even if they don't appreciate that, it's fine. You go ahead and you leave, because you do not need to be doing anything for anybody that does not appreciate you. You leave, and then they will finally recognize how much of a blessing that they had, and they'll never have again. So change your focus and make sure that you become an asset as opposed to a liability in other people's lives. And stop caring what other people think about you. There's too many people that don't even like themselves. And from one day to the next, they might like you one day and don't like you the next day. Your attitude should not change, and your confidence about yourself should not change according to these people and they flimsy behind what they like and what they don't like. It's too unstable for you to really depend on anyway, right? So don't. Now, next, one more factor to consider: stop looking at people like property, as though they belong to you. They don't. They belong to God. As well as that, ask God how to care for people you love that remember belongs to Him, not you. You are borrowing them for a limited time only. Now, y'all recognize this, because I think it's too many times that people do not want to pay attention to the fact that we are not here forever. People constantly want to ignore that factor, and I'm like, why? Why are y'all constantly trying to ignore a factor that you cannot ignore, because the fact is going to end up happening whether you like it or not? Y'all always want to sit there and ignore death, but don't people still die every day? So doesn't that let you know no matter how much you ignore, the problem is still going to exist? So therefore, since we all know this, we all need to understand that we do not belong to each other. Okay, if you have children, your children do not belong to you. If you have a husband or a wife, your husband or your wife does not belong to you. If you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, your boyfriend or girlfriend does not belong to you. I don't give a daggone what kind of toxic crap you were raised on, and that you watched your mother and or father or whoever else you was raised by, inflict on each other. Oh, you mine and I'm yours and I own you or I run you. Whatever kind of attitude these people want to have these days, okay? That's nothing but foolishness. Don't buy into it. We are all human beings that don't belong to nobody but God. Therefore, nobody but God can actually be able to show us, tell us, or show each other and tell each other how to properly love and how to properly take care of and how to properly handle us. Who better to tell you how to properly handle a product that they created than the creator themselves, right? So therefore, who better would you go to, or should you go to find out oh, this person is somebody that I truly love. And I truly, really, genuinely do want to show them that factually. So I need to ask the creator of this person, how do I take care of this person? Because when you buy an expensive product, let's say you get yourself an Xbox or a PlayStation, right? Let's say it ends up being some kind of glitch in your Xbox or your PlayStation. Would you go to a TV station to get your PlayStation fixed? Or would you go to the PlayStation store or the Xbox store to get your PlayStation or your Xbox fixed? You would go to the company store, right? So they're because the company are the ones that what created it. So they're going to be the ones that are going to know what the ins and outs of this product is, and if there is any issues, what the issue is. So why not would you have that same type of mentality when it comes to people and recognize, hold up, God made everybody. So since God made everybody, if we want to know how to treat each other, if we want to know how to respect each other, we want to know how to do better for and by each other, then we need to go to the creator and ask the creator, how should I love this person? How should I show respect to this person? Because every last one of us are different. What we need is different. We are all humans, yes, but we all need something different to be able to be our best selves. Just like flowers or fruits and vegetables. Flowers are all flowers. Fruits and vegetables are all fruits and vegetables. But all flowers, all fruits and vegetables need different care. They have different necessities. It's different things that you have to do in order to make sure that those flowers get what they need or the fruits and vegetables get what they need. Whatever the circumstance is, it's a certain type of recipe, it's a certain type of way to take care of it, whatever the situation is. Same thing with people. And we have to remind ourselves of that man, we got to go to the manufacturer, who is God, to ask, how do I take care of those that I love? How do I really show the best appreciation to them? How do I show the best respect to them? What is the best way to show them love that will actually connect to their heart and not make them feel unloved instead? Because that's what a lot of people are feeling. A lot of people are not able to show the love that the person that they're with needs. So therefore, that person that they are with goes feeling like they can't or they shouldn't be shown real genuine love because the person that they're with does not know how to love them correctly and does not even have enough interest to find out how to love them correctly so they can turn around and do it right. So that's why we got to get out of the habit and the mentalities of thinking that we belong to each other. We do not. We are borrowing one another for a short period, limited time only. Short period of time. We're only on this planet for a short period of time. We need to take regard and pay attention to that, because that's is a reason why that is. So the next thing is, once you ask God how to love and care for them, do that and God will bless the relationship or friendship. So be sure to make sure that you go to the manufacturer, God. Our manufacturer, humans manufacturers, animals manufacturers is God. God is the one that created us. God is the one that arranged for us to be able to be on this planet and dwell in this world as of today, as of right now that we are here. So being as though God is our manufacturer, our creator, we have to go to him for the directions of how to, treat each other, how to, love each other, how to be what that other person really needs. And when we do go to God to show us and tell us how to take care of these people that we say we love, then God will then in turn bless and really reward your connection, because you came to him for guidance and direction. You didn't go within yourself to look. You didn't go within that person to look. You went to God. You went to the manufacturer of all of us, the one that knows all the answers. And anytime that you go to God for help, it's going to get rewarded. And last but not least, these days, I think we just need to date for fun and give ourselves options and don't be loyal to anything or anyone else but yourself and your future. Because loyalty to one wrong person who you don't have a healthy relationship with is not love, but a toxic, messed up trap to get you vulnerable for the wrong person and make yourself waste time staying with them because we haven't figured how to get out of the web of life. So, in a nutshell, basically what I'm saying is we need to stop taking dating so seriously. Until that person that we're dating shows us that they are husband or wife material and that they do genuinely have our best interest at heart and is going to put their best foot forward to show and prove that to us, until that happens, we need to, especially as women, we need to make the decision to do what a lot of other men are actually doing. What a lot of other men are actually doing and being taught to do is to not care about relationships, not be too serious about any one female, play the field. I'm not telling y'all to play the field, but I'm telling you this is what guys are usually told. And a lot of times, if women listen to the advice that is given to guys, women will become a lot more successful. They would become a lot more successful. Actually, if both were switched, if women were brought up the way that guys were brought up, and if guys were brought up the way that females were brought up, then I feel like everything would actually be the way that it's supposed to be. Because I feel like these days, men are too female acting and females are too manly acting. And it doesn't even matter the nationality anymore, because it's even bleeding off into other nationalities. I even seen some Asians and some Koreans and some uh other nationality people that's definitely not black, that has women that act more manly and that has men that have more feminine traits. So I'm starting to recognize it's not even just the black community anymore that's like that. It's like everybody. So it's just like, if we start to, give ourselves grace, stop being so sexualized, if you feel like you're a really freaky person, you gotta do something, get some toys or whatever, but if that's not enough, give one person, okay? Because right now, these days, the best bet for you to do for your health and for your sensibility and your psychological health is to be with one person. Now, the best bet for you is to not be with anybody at all. Maybe get some toys or something and call it a day. But if it's that tough for you to abstain, then you might have to just go ahead and be with one person. But my personal opinion to you, just so you won't be like me and waste a lot of time on the wrong people and not want to ever do that again, because you get to the point, especially when you're getting older, you get to the point where you start to recognize, you know what, I don't want to keep putting myself through stuff that I know that I can prevent. You get to that point in your mind and in your heart. And honestly, I'm feeling like that's what I'm starting to get myself, where I'm like, I'm getting a little sick and tired of stuff, and I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to say, like, okay, I definitely can prevent some things, so maybe I should better get into the habit of preventing things as opposed to allowing things to fall where they may, and then ending up frustrated with myself that I didn't take the necessary precautions that I could have taken, but I didn't even want to recognize that it was possible. So as a result, I'm saying, go out and have fun. Don't be too sexual. Protect yourself and don't be being all crazy with that. But go out, meet people, travel, get to know people in different settings, get to know people in different environments, and get to know yourself a lot better. Because I think that's another issue that a lot of people have, is that they start to date and don't really know themselves very well. They're trying to get to know other people, but they have not even really learned everything that there is to know about them yet. So until you get to the point where you are schooling yourself about yourself and you're recognizing who you are, you're not really going to have that much luck with other people, because people are usually going to be able to read off of you that you have not gotten it all together yet. Now, I'm not saying that everybody has to have it all together yet. They don't. But at least be on the mind mission to be ready and willing to make the adjustments and or the changes that's necessary and needed to be made so that you can be the best version of yourself. Because too many times people complain about the problems that they have, complain about the issues that they have, complain about the life that they're living, but they do not want to do what is necessary to actually change the circumstances that they're complaining about. And they don't know that they're actually defeating the purpose complaining, especially complaining to people that are around them, because you're going to make people not want to be around you if you're constantly complaining about the same stuff over and over again, but you're not willing to do what is necessary to actually change the circumstance for yourself. People going to get sick and tired of dealing with you, because they're going to be like, yo, you complain about the same shit all the time and then you don't fix it. Excuse my mouth. But you're going to get irritated, because it's going to be like, yo, when are you going to start to recognize that you're in your own way, that you're your own problem? So let's get to the point where we're not being our own problem anymore, and we make the dating scene a fun situation where we go out, we have a good time, we actually get to know people as people first before trying to jump into bed with them. Try to build some type of healthy environment and relationship connections, so that if you do ever have anything serious with this person, it's actually not a toxic, traumatic experience. It's actually a fun experience, a good, enjoyable experience, that even if y'all do not stay together forever, you could be able to talk about your relationship years down the line, because it's not toxic. And possibly y'all might even still be friends because it's not toxic. So, like, make it a point to start to really recognize that dating is supposed to be fun. So keep it that way. Make it fun. Just stop being so serious with this dating scene. You shouldn't get serious with this dating scene until you know that other person is very serious about you, especially as females. If that man does not let you know that he is very extremely serious about you, and I mean through actions, not words, don't believe the hype, okay? So don't fall for the messed up traps that make you vulnerable because you're with the wrong people and you're wasting time with them. Don't fall for that. Recognize what it is and understand that you have to get away from that type of environment and those type of people, and you have to level yourself up, and you have to focus on you and your improvements, and that's what's going to put you where you actually want to be and put you where you actually need to be in your life, as opposed to putting you in relationships that you're going to be feeling frustrated and trying to get out of eventually, and probably feeling kind of trapped in until you eventually get out of it. So to save yourself from that frustration, get to the mode where you look at dating as a fun, enjoyable type of activity, where you just go out, you just have fun, you just have a good time, you don't get intimate, you don't get too serious, you don't get too close, none of that. Unless that other person, especially if you're a woman, unless that other person shows that they truly love you, that they truly care for you, that they truly want to see you in a future with them one day. Until they show and prove that, don't say it's safe to assume, because it's not safe to assume at all. It's not. All right, guys, so that's the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And make sure you become a part of the Truth Tribe. Because when you vibing with Ruth, you vibing with the truth. And that's just that on that. So make sure you press that subscribe button. Push it. Push the button. Okay, there you go. Now, y'all have a good day, and I will see you guys in the what? In the next video. Duh. See y'all.